Welcome. Look at this. This is amazing. Wow. So I think we're going to have to find a larger location already for next year. This is really exciting to see everyone here. So welcome to our second annual AWS Bahrain Summit. And my name is Teresa Carlson. I run our worldwide public sector business for Amazon Web Services. And it is just amazing to be back here in Bahrain with this beautiful weather and really getting our innovation on. So I'd like to start this morning by thanking His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa for making this possible. It's amazing to be under his patronage. And I also want to thank His Royal Highness Crown Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa for all of his support from the very beginning to make our being here on the ground actually possible. And I also want to extend a warm welcome to Your Highness Deputy Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Mubarak Al Khalifa. And thank you for being with us here today. And we had an opportunity to go around and see a little bit about what was happening in the hall. So thank you again so much, and everyone else for being with us here today. So I love the spirit of Bahrain already, and I thought I got permission to be able to share this from the office of the First Deputy Prime Minister. And for some of you who don't know what this is day one. And day one is something that we use at Amazon. Jeff Bezos, our founder and CEO and chairman, talks about every day being day one. And what that means is you take every day as an opportunity to innovate. You don't slack off. You don't get lazy. Every day you're thinking about innovation and what you can do differently and what you can do better, and having a vision of transformation. And I think this just delighted me when I saw it, because I think it's just an example of the leadership shown here in Bahrain and the spirit and vision of economic development that is actually happening both here and around the region to really create a digital economy. And definitely from the outset, having a partner here in Bahrain, they've seen the vision of this, and I think this is going to help contribute most certainly to the prosperity of the Middle East. So let's talk about what's happening here in the region. So you've seen us here at AWS now in the region for a few years. We are really just giddy about that. We are getting very close to launching our very first set of data centers here in the Middle East, in the Gulf, which will happen in 2019, early 2019. And I'm excited about the partnership we've had to create this. So this is going to expand our footprint around the world. And you can see that big star, which is Bahrain. And that star actually helps us close a gap in the world where we did not have a region of data centers. And this cluster of data centers will represent not only Bahrain, but it's going to represent an opportunity for the region to take advantage of cloud computing, international, multinational companies and startups that really are excited about building a company and taking advantage of innovation in the right way. So very exciting, and we look forward to all of you being able to utilize and take advantage of this region. Whoops, went back. And I would also like to say that Bahrain has really been a leader in taking down barriers. And now what does that mean? Well, in order to have a sustainable region or a cluster of data centers that we want to come in and really build, you have to create the blueprint, the footprint, in order for this to be successful. And there's multiple things that have to come together that makes this a success. But one of the primary things is having a cloud-first policy. And Bahrain was the first in the region to have a cloud-first policy. And now the government is actively migrating all of their workloads into the AWS cloud. And under the leadership of His Highness the Deputy Prime Minister, we're actually collaborating on a task force to break down and make sure we are getting all these pillars of innovation right. And any barrier or blocker that comes up, we're taking that down really fast so that we can innovate fast. So the commitment to agility, speed, is really what we took into consideration for the possibility of what could happen here from, again, the government to startups to large enterprises to multinational companies that are going to be able to take advantage of something that they generally get in the rest of the world now here in the Middle East. I keep going back. Sorry about that. Now, I've had so many partners that have helped us make this a success, that makes this region a success. But one of our main partners has been EDB, and His Excellency Khalid Al-Rumehi has been my key partner on this. And I thought since he's here today, which I would have been upset if he hadn't been, I would have him come up and tell us a little bit about what's happening in the region. So come on up. We have a speaker, and yeah, there we go. So what's going on? Are we making progress here or what?
We definitely are. First of all, Your Highness, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kingdom of Bahrain. Welcome to the second Amazon Web Services Summit here in the capital, well, the AWS capital in the Middle East, in Bahrain, the Kingdom of Bahrain. So, Teresa, a lot is happening. And I thought it would be worthwhile maybe just to update everybody about what we've done since last year when we first spoke about launching the region here in Bahrain. And a couple of things that I think are important to note. Number one, we've introduced a data protection law here in the kingdom that is, I believe, groundbreaking not only in the Gulf but in the entire Middle East. It allows the protection of consumer data. It is based on the EU 1995 directive, and it is going to enable the move to the cloud, the sharing of data without violating the privacy of consumers.
Very good.
Secondly, and the thanks goes to the government, really, for the groundbreaking developments that have been done, is the updating of our bankruptcy law.
Yes.
And so we have now updated the bankruptcy law so that there is an ability for companies, if they fail, to be restructured and to have the ability to fail and restart again. So again, like other countries in the region, we've allowed the building blocks for entrepreneurship and for companies to restart after failure. And the third is a competition law that allows, again, companies to enter in this market and have free access to customers, to do away anything that would block monopolies. And they have the ability, if they find that they are constricted, to go to the government and ask for access to customers. That's on the regulation and policy front. From the beginning, when we've talked to you, Teresa, and to Andy, we've always said part of what we're doing with Amazon is encouraging entrepreneurship, is encouraging innovation. And so one of the things that we've done is we focused on fintech, and we launched Bahrain Fintech Bay in the last year, the largest fintech hub in the entire Middle East. And to us, this is going to unleash innovation in financial services, remove friction for customers as they look to pay, as they look to borrow. We've done that in partnership with the Central Bank of Bahrain. And again, Bahrain will take a lead, I believe, in the region in fintech. And lastly, again, for entrepreneurship, we launched a $100 million fund of funds that is going to allow venture capital to come into the kingdom and to have access to entrepreneurs. So people who need capital will have access to venture capitalists that are not going to be led by the government. We're simply going to allow the building blocks for venture capital to take place in this country. And lastly, I would say as a country, we're very proud of the momentum that has been generated in this country. We were the fastest growing country in the GCC last year. We showed GDP growth, real GDP growth of 3.8%.
Wow.
And we were happy to announce in just the first 9 months of this year, we were able to attract $810 million of FDI into the country. That beat the full year of 2017, which is about $730 million. So the momentum that we are seeing in growth, in FDI, and again, we hope that's going to grow with the presence of Amazon here. So I just want to welcome everybody back to Bahrain, to the kingdom. We want to welcome you, Teresa, back here, and we're delighted to host the second annual AWS Summit.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was a great update. Give me 5. All right. Excellent. That was a good update. That's lots of progress. So we really have been moving really fast. And I'm looking over here, and we have governments from across the region. We have our friends from Kuwait that are here that we just signed an MOU with, that we're working, our CITRA. Thank you so much for attending. And we're going to be doing a lot with them. And I think it's just an example here in the Middle East, what is changing. I mean, the entire region is changing, and you are disrupting and thinking about innovation and how do you truly create a digital economy here. And you need cloud in order to do that in the right way, because you don't want the old school model of going out and buying a bunch of stuff that you really can't use. You need the ability to try and the technology tools that enable that so you can fail fast and succeed fast. Because almost any entrepreneur you'll ever talk to will say there was absolutely some failure in trying to get to success. But that's how you learn what not to do. It's about moving through it really rapidly and being able to test out and try those things. So again, an amazing update. But I just have a couple more slides that I want to share on actually what does all that mean. Well, we had yesterday a meeting with the EDB where we talked about what do we need to be doing that encourages startups to come here, to create their businesses here and thrive. And I think this is an example of what's going on in MENA right now. The number of startups that are progressing and moving because of policies that His Excellency Khalid Al-Fallah just told us about, Khalid Al-Rumayhi just told us about, which are the things that really we need to drive the economy in the right way, which is growth and innovation. So disruptive startups like Kareem, Fetcher are two great examples of scaling and innovating on AWS. And Visita, which is a startup based in Egypt that's transforming healthcare by automating the processes of healthcare appointments. And then the UAE startup, Sarwa, is providing automated investment advice in the fintech. And again, you just heard His Excellency Khalid Rumayhi talk about Fintech Bay and what they're doing here in the Fintech Bay to really make that a reality. And what a better place to do this in an area like Bahrain, who already had lots of experience in the financial world, now create the new digital economy with financial services. So, and then you have groups here in Bahrain like 1GCC and Elephant Social using tools like machine learning to be able to look at hiring as well as learning as part of their portfolio. So amazing. I mean, this is really amazing. And we took a look yesterday at the number of new startups that have just been created in the last year. And then we have our amazing partner, Tamkeen, who's here from Tamkeen? I know we have Tamkeen here, but they have been an amazing partner for a very long time, since the very beginning of AWS being on the ground, to support cloud computing and skills. And by the way, I have never seen a program ever like this in the world that's actually trying to support the economy with skills. And we're excited today by the launch of their new cloud computing program, which, hold on, covers 100% of the cost of cloud computing services from AWS. And this is going to focus on all businesses, enterprises, SMEs, and startups to adopt cloud-based IT solutions. So can we give Tamkeen a big round of applause for what they're doing? It's like amazing. I've never seen a program like this. So they are not only putting the policies to work here, they're putting the programs to work that actually allow and enable startups and companies to be truly successful in the cloud to move to a digital economy. Because sometimes you need a little push and you need a little help, and that's exactly what's happening here. So many opportunities working with Tamkeen. Now I'd like to introduce someone to come to the stage who is just a complete innovator and is an individual that does not accept any blockers to get the job done. And you want individuals in the government to do this because everyone knows governments can be slow and bogged down with bureaucracy. Well, this individual does not let bureaucracy get in his way. He's an individual that's incorporated the cloud-friendly policies and acquisition vehicles to really get the government going fast. So he can tell it better than I can, but I'd like to welcome to the stage Mohammed Al-Khalid, who is the Chief Executive of IGA and is doing amazing work here in Bahrain and for the region. Please welcome Mohammed to the stage.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you, Teresa. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your Highness, Sheikh Mohammed bin Mubarak Al-Khalifa, Deputy Prime Minister, Chairman of the Supreme Committee for the ICT, Deputy Patron of this summit. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to address a keynote speech today, and I am super excited with the progress that has been made since the announcement of the Middle East region in Bahrain last year. When His Royal Highness Crown Prince announced the opening of the region, that was part of the Kingdom's vision for Bahrain, the GCC, and the Arab region to innovate, to use the technology and making the technology the enabler, a true enabler for implementations of the Kingdom's visions, to transform and to be true, agile, and deliver the government services at a very effective way. So when the Supreme Committee, chaired by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed Mubarak, looked into the cloud-first policy and put the idea forward for the cloud-first policy, it was a comprehensive approach, not just a piece of policy that goes out without a real thought. The cloud-first policy, to get implemented, first it gets endorsed by the cabinet at the top level, and we had to look into our architecture, relook into our policies, compliance, audit, procurement process, tendering process, making sure that all the regulations and all the blockers get a way to have a proper implementation of the cloud-first policy. That took us from the initiative to experience. When we study any government requirements moving to cloud, there is a proper added value study into their request. We make sure that ROI is there, they are ready, skill set requirements is there, and that made Bahrain experience the migration in a very fast time, becoming a pioneer in the region, the first country. We are proud to be the first country in the region having the cloud-first policy. And I guess the maturity that obtained by the Kingdom of Bahrain, by the government, into the cloud migration is there to make Bahrain among the first globally and share our knowledge with other countries. And I'm happy to announce that we have lots of cooperations with other countries, but one of the first that we had discussions with brothers and sisters from Kuwait. We work together to share our knowledge and to support each other. Part of the government hosting the government data into each other countries, which will come by a law which will enable that. Going into the progress and impact, I'm sure everybody are looking for some stats and figures. Our national portal, national channels that we deliver the government services, 350, goes through multiple channels. We decided to migrate our channels into the cloud. I'm happy to announce that our mobile app systems completely migrated to cloud, and the national portal, the testing, staging, development, fully migrated to the cloud. And very soon, we are in the final stages of moving the production into the cloud. In the migrations, 40 government systems already migrated to the cloud, and over 700 workloads migrated to the cloud so far. By next year, when the region is going to be open, we are hoping to hit the 1,000 plus workloads. Okay. What was the impact of that journey? 70% reduction into infrastructure cost, and more than 60% reduction in procurement cycle time. And I think the second is more important than the first. The reduction of the procurement cycle into market, it allows the governments to deliver the vision of the government and to transform, which is much more important than the cost reduction. And of course, we cannot do that without looking into the human capital and skill set requirements. So there was a training strategy, full strategy. We looked into the full portfolio of AWS training, and of course, working closely hand in hand with Tamkeen to enable Bahrainis to be the first choice for employment. So the training portfolio covers operations, security, databases, even the planning. So we want to make sure that all the skill sets required are there with the locals to support the kingdom's vision. Of course, we needed to empower the local partners as training partners. And in the government, we managed to train more than 400 government employees by AWS, and we target 1,500 by 2020 only in the government. What is next? Of course, migration, that's the start of the journey. We have to realize the benefits of the cloud. Optimization in the cloud. Yes, we migrated last year hundreds of workloads. Immediately after the first batch of migrations, we started optimizing that workload. The migration saves you something around 70 to 90% of the cost. The optimization can give you a further reduction of cost of 20 to 50% of that migration. And then getting to more sophisticated services, like the serverless, to become agile and scalable design approaches. So one of the very critical systems, the fingerprint authentication, which is being used by telcos, all the telcos in Bahrain, all the transactions that they make, all the private hospitals, and very soon all the banks in Bahrain. Any fingerprint authentication will happen through a fully serverless model, the system which is developed by serverless model. When we started developing the fingerprint authentication, we had to invest $250,000 dinars into the system. Currently, we have a system without a server to be maintained, so the reduction of operations is very obvious, and the security is very high because there is no server, there is no environment it's running. It's there in the storage. Whenever somebody calls that service, it gets up, executed, and goes back into storage. So that's the optimization in the cloud, and trying to make sure, that's just one example, we are educating our employees to get into the real benefits of the cloud, and developed on the cloud from day one. So most of the systems in the future will be developed in the cloud, not migrated coming from other environments. And that will eliminate poorly utilized resources, tests and development, and right-size the resources. Of course, the innovation, the most important thing with the cloud is the innovation. Blockchain, as we know, it requires a huge computing power. The international benchmark is 20K per second, and that only can happen in the cloud. So we are already studying to announce some of the blockchain services in the near future, and robotic process automation to virtual workers to execute the rule-based information and processes, eliminating the governments from employees from doing the trivial operations and processes, giving it to the system. And of course, the artificial intelligence, using the power of the data to properly analyze it and come up with the better decisions and better services. That's all for today. I wish you a pleasant stay here and a very informative summit. Looking forward for the announcement of the region next year. Thank you very much.
So that's a lot of progress in a short period of time. And he also is on our CIO Advisory Council for AWS. So I wanted to share that because he's also bringing the thoughts and ideas about what's happening here in the region now and being able to interact with companies around the world, both startups and enterprises doing things. So they get to share. So I love that because think about what's happening here. Now you're taking and you're blending into everything going on in the world and sharing ideas and best practices. And one of the other things I wanted to highlight is we've also been able to bring some of our partners here from the U.S. that we want to continue. You saw some of those on the stage when we went through the video, but our goal is to continue to bring partners from around the world. If you look out in the hall, the Cube is here today from the Silicon Angle. And the Cube is a group that does internet, it's an internet talk show that's out of Palo Alto, California, and they're going to be interviewing a lot of individuals. And he is very excited, John Furrier is excited about bringing the news, what's happening here, back to the rest of the world. So we're going to be doing that today. We have our partner here from Telos who's here, John Wood. We have IronNet, General Keith Alexander and his team's been here. And we have all of our other partners, which Max, you're going to hear from more today, but we just appreciate all of those and our sponsor. So we're going to take a little bit of a break so our esteemed guests can, the ones that need to exit. So if you don't mind to stay in your seat, because Max Peterson is going to come up just in a moment and continue. So I want to thank everyone for being here, and we're just going to take a minute of pause. So thank you.
Thank you and welcome, Your Highness, Excellencies, distinguished guests. Was that an amazing story by Mohammed Al-Qaid from IGA? I have to tell you, I go around the world a lot, and that story of government driving innovation in a country is rare. And the story about going serverless with fingerprints that integrate across the entire government is magic. That is the type of leadership that's great to have from government. I'm so impressed about the progress that's been made here in Bahrain. So let's go ahead and get on with the rest of the show. And I'm doing the same thing Teresa did, right? Hitting the red button instead of the green button. So I want to tell you what, this summit has generated amazing excitement throughout the Middle East. Over 2,000 plus attendees this year, over 16 different sponsors coming to help the government, help enterprise, help startups, all get the most out of cloud computing now while waiting for the region in early 2019 to launch and be available right here. This morning we had numerous sessions in a business track, in a technical track, and in a special topics track. Those tracks continue this afternoon after our keynote right here. So I encourage you, take a break at lunch, get to know people, network, see the partner stands, and then get ready for the remaining 3 sets of breakout sessions today. They're great opportunities to learn, great opportunities to do what the First Deputy Prime Minister's office was doing. Think about every day as day one and what we can do to be more efficient, more innovative, more agile. There'll be a short break for prayer time, and then there's a final set of breakout sessions. I need to take a minute to thank our sponsors, because without their support in the ecosystem and in summits like this, we just wouldn't be able to bring the same set of learning to everybody. And so Trend Micro, who offers great solutions for security in the cloud, is our platinum sponsor. And this really demonstrates how important the region is when you've got firms like this coming to provide solutions that are specific to the region. I think we're going to hear a quick word from Trend Micro. or maybe not.
When we look at the security posture of an organization, we find that with the security controls that Amazon provides, plus the security controls and products that Trend Micro provides, the security posture is actually better in the public cloud oftentimes than on-premise. A great success story between Trend Micro, AWS, and a customer is NASA. They were able to take many tools, consolidate them into one product called Deep Security by Trend Micro, and manage from one place. Our product actually auto-tunes to the environment it's in, from anything from physical servers to VMware servers to public cloud servers on AWS. You have one management console, one policy, and the orchestration across those environments is automatic. We are investing in the future of computing. It's that simple.
We also, of course, want to recognize our gold sponsors. Batelco has been a great partner in both delivering the cloud computing capability in the region, but also now helping customers to move to the cloud with managed services, security services, and other things. C5, a great organization that has been in the kingdom from the start, helping to drive cloud computing with startups and generate economic development. Computer World, Mindtree, Informatica, Palo Alto Networks, and VMware. And then finally, we've got our silver sponsors, another great set of companies, actually many of them born right here in the Middle East, that are starting to deliver cloud solutions for enterprises, for governments, for educational institutions across the world. Amoyed, Cloudflare, Cloudwick, Deloitte, Ellucian, Fortinet, and ThinkSmart. Please visit all of these sponsors out in the exhibit hall here. And then finally, we're really excited to be here, and we're really excited about you telling your stories about what you're doing in the kingdom and what kind of excitement, what kind of new solutions you're delivering. So please join us on social media at AWS_Gov or hashtag AWS Summit and share and be part of the conversation and participate. So I'd like to talk for just a second about the growth behind cloud computing and how it's benefiting our customers around the world. With AWS, we're enabling workloads literally for millions of active customers every month, and includes tens of thousands of government agencies, educational institutions, not-for-profits that are making the world a better place, commercial enterprises, startups, and then our entire partner ecosystem. And that's just driving tremendous growth because it's driving tremendous value for customers around the world. It's allowed AWS to be able to grow to the fastest enterprise IT vendor to reach $10 million a year in sales. And with the most recent quarter's earnings, what it shows is that there is no stop to the growth in the cloud computing. Customers are adopting cloud with such great results and such great vigor that AWS grew 49% year over year last year. And if you looked at it on a full year basis, it would be a $24 billion business now. Which is amazing because we're able to continue to reinvest in delivering new and more innovative customer solutions for our customers. So what is driving the activity on the cloud? Why is it important, and what customer benefits get out of it? I think the first and perhaps the most important is security, because we build the cloud to be safe because we believe that security is job zero. It allows all of our customers to adopt the platform and themselves enhance the security that they're able to deliver. And then we've got third-party companies, our partners like Telos, like Trend Micro, like IronNet, that build even more sophisticated solutions on the cloud that give you more power to protect your information, your country, your data. Agility. You heard Teresa and you heard Mohammed Al-Qaed talk about the tremendous agility. I thought it was great testament that he mentioned 70% savings, which most people would just cheer wildly about. But what did he say? He actually said the more important thing was the 60% improvement in agility that they got because the procurement process sped up. And that really is where the new digital transformation is taking place. You have to be able to move fast. First mover advantage is really important. And your citizens, your students, your customers, they all expect it now. They expect that kind of agility and speed in response to their needs. The elasticity goes without saving. That's what helps drive that 70% savings. You can scale up, you can scale down, you pay only for what you use, and you can try brand new services at a very low cost to figure out how you can drive even improved benefits out of things like serverless or artificial intelligence that Mohammed mentioned. And then, while I left it on the chart last, it's undeniable that the cost savings are really important, because around the world, there's constraint in terms of budgets. We need to put more of the money into driving new benefit in the economy, into training new students for digital transformation skills in the 21st century, and less money into the old legacy hardware and old legacy software that just sits there and gets older. So cost savings on the cloud are absolutely one of the drivers. When it comes to security, you can count on the fact that AWS meets more global certifications for security than any other cloud provider around the world. This offers real advantages by making it simple to start operating on AWS, because customers get the benefit of all of these different certifications. So whether you're in the finance industry and you need to make sure your systems are PCI compliant, whether you're in government and you need to make sure that your systems meet the compliance standards of, say, NIST, or of C5 in Germany, or of, say, IRAP in Australia. On AWS, the cloud already delivers all those security capabilities, and you inherit them. What we're really excited about doing, though, is helping customers make their own systems more secure. And so with AWS, we have something that we call the well-architected security profile. This allows customers to go through in a systematic way and improve the security of their systems. We're already collaborating with customers all around the region to help ensure and enhance regional security and cybersecurity, working with customers here in Bahrain, working in Kuwait, in Saudi Arabia, in the UAE. And together, we're building a safer and more secure internet ecosystem on the cloud. This all serves to enable one of the other fundamental needs from any customer, any institution, and that's data privacy. And when it comes to data privacy, AWS customers retain the full ownership and control of their content. You choose the region around the world where you want to do your computing and you want to store your data. AWS doesn't replicate it or move it anywhere. You make all of those choices. It's your data. You have the full control to encrypt your data. And in fact, we recommend that as part of your well-architected plan, because that ensures that your data remains secure, whether it's in motion or at rest, wherever you choose to store it. And then, as we already mentioned, a number of our third-party partners in the security arena provide additional capabilities to enhance your control, enhance your security, and enhance your privacy on the cloud. One final note on data privacy. Has anybody heard of this thing called GDPR? It impacts a couple of people around the world. In order to ensure data privacy, the European Union adopted a general data privacy regulation. And it was well known in advance this was happening. AWS went to work immediately on that, and we are excited to say for our customers and our governments that we announced full GDPR compliance for the services on AWS 2 full months before the regulation went into place. And so what that meant, quite simply, that really is a round of applause for all of the AWS service teams, solution architects, and everybody else who worked so hard to ensure security and data privacy. But it was quite a lift. The important thing is that we did the lift, and that allowed our customers to build on top of it so that they didn't have the same heavy lift. Furthermore, AWS is now excited to be able to deliver over 120 different services. And anybody in the back of the room that can read this chart, my hat's off to you. I can't, but I want to highlight just 2 things that are really important. With AWS, you get all the foundation services that you need to run those current systems, but run them more efficiently, less expensively, and more agile in the cloud. But what's even more important is that you get immediate access to the latest technology so that you can try out new things. Exactly as some of our customer case studies will tell you today, and exactly as Mohammed Al-Qaid said, experiment with serverless and be more efficient. Experiment with machine learning and understand customer sentiment. Use voice services to interact with citizens and students and businesses in new and different ways. There's a whole realm of possibilities, and on AWS, it allows you to try any of those without investment, pay for only what you use. Of course, one of the other benefits of AWS for our customers is the pace of innovation that we do for the benefit of our customers. Without having to make the same kind of investments, you get to go ahead and try out these examples. One, which is from the Bahrain Institute for Public Administration. With AWS, they were able to build a learning platform in a matter of months, and they saved hundreds of thousands of dollars doing so they could deliver results faster for the students that they wound up serving. That's the incredible speed and efficiency and the ability to innovate that AWS gives you. We couldn't do that, though, without the partner network. Today, we have the fastest growing partner network that helps customers in different industries all around the world, in different segments, and in different geographies. We have over 20 APN partners that have invested in their businesses here in the Middle East, including 10 partners who have achieved what we call the Public Sector Partner Program. What that means is that they are experts in helping public sector institutions take the full advantage of cloud computing. As Teresa mentioned earlier, we also have the opportunity to work across the region and bring benefits throughout the region and beyond. With Kuwait, we just recently signed an MOU with the Communications and Information Technology Regulatory Authority, CITRA, and the agreement, again, aligns the priorities of the nation with the capabilities of digital transformation that AWS can bring. And so what it's going to enable the Vision 2030. It's going to enable Kuwait's national cybersecurity strategy. We've already started working together on the cloud policy that'll make it friendly for adoption. And as you heard earlier, we're now seeing governments cooperate to be able to take greater advantage of the benefits of cloud computing. And then finally, it's super important that we all make sure that we develop the human capital along the way. And so our MOU with Kuwait CITRA will also provide for training and skills development. With this, what I'd like to do is stop for a second and invite a distinguished guest from the Al Tayyar group to come to the stage with me, Abdul Rahman Matrib, and he's going to tell the story of innovation at Al Tayyar out of Saudi Arabia.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today, and thanks for Amazon inviting me to be here today to talk about our experience in the cloud. My name is Abdurrahman Mutrib. I'm the Executive Vice President of Al Tayyar Group for Technology, and I'm going to be talking to you about our experience. Before I do that, let me speak a little bit about who we are. So basically, we are a travel and tourism company in Saudi Arabia. We've been in business for the last 40 years. We started in 1979 with a simple retail shop in Saudi. In 2000, we started acquiring different businesses to grow faster. In 2012, we went public. So we are the very first and maybe the only public listed travel and tourism company in the Middle East. In 2014, we started to grow internationally. So we have offices in the UK and we have offices in Egypt across most of the GCC countries. And then in 2015, we had an interesting event. We had a completely new board members. We have a complete new management, including myself. And then we started to roll out our strategic plan. The strategic plan basically calls for multiple initiatives. One of them is diversifying our investment portfolio. So we started investing in hospitality. Today we have 7 hotels. We are running these hotels in partnership with the likes of Sheraton, Movenpick. Then we signed a franchise with Choice Hotels across the Middle East. So we're going to be building hotels with brand names like Days Inn, Comfort Inn, and Clarion across the whole Middle East. We expect to have a total of more than 50 hotels in the Middle East by next year. The other initiative that we had is we need to build our online presence. Until 2015, we never had an online presence. So we thought this is a critical, and we need to launch it as soon as possible. We today have 3 brand names for online. We have something called Al-Musafir, Tajawwal, and Al Tayyar Online. So in order to build this online presence, we had to have certain guiding principles. One of the key guiding principles that came up of the strategy team is that we need to have a customer-centric service. By that, I mean instead of building products and services that we think the customer wants, we actually gonna build products and services that the customer need and want. And this is customer centricity is one of the key principles that we took upon ourselves when we're building our online presence. So the first thing we had to make as a decision is whether we build our infrastructure in-house using data centers or we go to the cloud. So we had 4 main metrics to help us make that decision. One of them, for example, scalability. Our business is seasonal. So we have very high demand in the summer times, then it goes back down after summer. Same thing for New Year or Christmas. That means that we need to build our infrastructure that meets our high season. Unfortunately, during low season, this infrastructure is going to be underutilized, which means that we're not going to get our right return on investment. That made ourselves go to the cloud, because in the cloud we can pay as you go. We're only going to get the cost of the resources that we are going to actually use. This is going to be the same thing for the other 3 metrics for making that decision. We built many interesting products on the cloud. One of them that we are very proud of this year is the big data platform. So we're using AWS to build big data for our customers. We are getting all kinds of information from all the big players, including Google, for example. We're tracking every single search on Google for any customer in the Middle East that searches for anything related to travel or tourism. We get that into our big data. Also, we have big pipes to the big social media outlets like Twitter, Facebook, and we also have gathering all the data that our customer is doing when it comes to searching our website or mobile apps. So what do we do with this data? We harvest this data on daily, weekly basis. We try to understand the customer behavior, the sentiment, where are they going, what they're doing when they go there. And then we customize our product and services to be actually tailored to our customers. We're using agile methodology, so every 2-3 weeks we launch new products and services and we modify our product to meet the customer requirement. This is to address our strategic goal of being customer-centric. We don't offer products and services that we think, but we 100% sure that the customer is going to be using. This is a quick snapshot. You've seen a lot of Amazon services and workload types. If you go to Amazon and AWS website, you're going to find more than 1,000 of these types of workloads and services. For example, these are maybe a little bit too technical, but for example, we're using agile methodology. So Amazon is giving us the right tools to manage our own developers for collaboration, what they call DevOps tools. So what's next? Basically, we have exciting stuff coming next year. So instead of doing and adapting our product and services every 2-3 weeks for the customer requirement, we're going to be using next year Amazon's machine learning tools and artificial intelligence to actually understand the customer behavior and do real-time predictive analysis of what they're looking for. So at the spot, when you're going to be accessing our website or mobile apps, we will be able to offer every single customer a different user experience. We're going to be offering each single customer a completely customized, fully personalized customer experience. And this is going to be done hopefully by next year. So for anyone who's considering cloud, this is actually our own experience, what we have found out, what the cloud can do for us. If I'm going to take an example of scalability, this year we had very successful marketing campaigns. One of the marketing campaigns we had this year, we had 3 times of demand on our infrastructure. It was so high that we were surprised how successful that marketing campaign was. So let's take the 2 examples. If we had such success with in-house infrastructure, we would have needed 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks to procure new infrastructure, install it, configure it, and make it available. That means we could have lost all this demand from customers, and we could have lost the revenue from those customers. In contrast, since we are in the cloud, we were able to scale up very quickly in few seconds and meet all these demands. And we could not lose any revenue. In terms of cost savings, when we did our study back in 2015, whether we're going to do cloud or on-premise, we found out that in order to build our data center, Tier 4, fully redundant, fully tolerant, we're going to be needing an investment between $10 million and $12 million every 5 years. Today, we're spending less than $1 million on Amazon Cloud every year. So that's a huge cost saving, more than 50%. 4 years ago, we had zero footprint in the online. Today, within 4 years, our 3 brand names are going to be generating more than 2 billion riyals of revenue this year. Thanks to multiple success factors, but I believe focusing on the cloud have relieved us from wasting our time building our own infrastructure. And thanks to Amazon for helping us out doing that in a record time. Thank you very much.
That was a great story. I love the technology that you're employing, but you know what I think is most important? The focus on customer obsession.
Thank you.
From the start to the finish.
Thanks a lot.
In Amazon, in our business, we're customer obsessed too. And I think that when you can put the technology behind the scene and get rid of all of that undifferentiated heavy lifting, it allows you to be that much more focused on what the citizen, what the consumer, what the business, or what the student needs, and what you really want to deliver. So thank you very much for that again. I want to talk briefly about these kind of new technologies and how they're being put to use, and in fact, some other customers that are using them right here in the Middle East today. Machine learning, as we heard just a second ago, is one of those exciting areas that used to be difficult to take advantage of. And thanks to Amazon, many customers now can take advantage of this because you can store practically unlimited amounts of data. And as we heard, to get good analytics, you need a lot of data. You can spin up as much computing you want to train new machine learning models using that data. And then you can turn it back off again when you don't need it. I feel like I'm telling the Altair story here again. And then you can deploy these models at scale, enormous scale, when you need it. And so that idea of being able to personalize every experience for every customer that's hitting the mobile app is another great demonstration of the power that you've got. As a result, over 8 out of 10 machine learning workloads today run on AWS. Here's part of the reason why. This allows, because Amazon has made it easy by providing a framework, it allows the most sophisticated customers to get access directly to the machine learning frameworks at the bottom of the slide here. Nearly 2 decades of experience at Amazon has gone into developing and then delivering the machine learning capability embodied in these tools. Secondly, for traditional engineers who may not be experts in machine learning, but know the problems that they're trying to solve, they're able to use things like Amazon SageMaker and Amazon Deep Lens to allow you to focus on your data and training the machine learning algorithms that you need to power your enterprise. And then finally, at the top of the stack, even for those people who don't have machine learning experience, we offer application services that allow you to make simple API calls from your current applications and embed these types of machine learning results right into your applications today. So our goal is to make it fast, easy, and simple for you to get started with machine learning on your journey. And personally, I'm super excited about the fact that Formula One is now using AWS machine learning to gain its insights into both driver and fan behavior. I've had the great opportunity here in Bahrain to come and watch the Formula One for the last 4 years. I know it's a very special event that we've got here, and I'm super excited to be able to see what they're going to do with machine learning analytics on Amazon in the next coming Formula One here. You know, these cars generate massive amounts of data. In a single race, one car will generate almost 3 gigabytes of information. And what Formula One is doing is using that current information and all of the historical information that they've got, over 65 years worth of data, to be able to put it into developing these machine learning models that gives new insights, that gives new strategies that can be shared, and that gives fans new ways to experience the sport around the world as well as right here when you're in the stands. A similar story about machine learning innovation is happening right here in the Middle East. And here to share their story is a company who got their start with the support of AWS Activate, which is our tool to allow startups to experiment on the cloud and to start building new global businesses on the cloud. Today, they're the largest Arabic content platform in the world, and they're using voice-to-text and other advanced AWS services to improve access to Arabic content. And so please help me welcome, big round of applause, for Rami Al-Qassami, the founder and CEO of Madhu.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First, allow me to thank AWS team for this great opportunity they give us to explain to you more about my company. My name is Rami Al-Qassami. I'm a founder and CEO of Mawdu.com. So, what is Mawdu'? We're the most visited Arabic website in Middle East and North Africa. Our company started back in 2010. We realized that people actually are searching things in Arabic. When you search something in Arabic in Google or any of the big search engine, you wouldn't find relevant results. Because this study shows that Arabic content online is less than 1%, while Arabic users online is somewhere at around 5%. So there is a big gap on the Arabic market. So we decided to solve this problem by writing content on our website and uploading it online. For some reason, okay. Now we have 45 million unique users visiting our website monthly. Those users actually are reading more than 100 billion words every day. We wrote somewhere around 150,000 articles from scratch. All those articles are referenced articles, and all of those articles are edited from our editors in the company. Again, 6,000 experts is writing on our website. So back in 2016, we realized that there is something wrong. People are actually changing the way that they consume content. And people are going to be using their voice instead of having writing on keyboards or using keyboards. So we realized that we have to change the way that we write the content or the way that we give the content for our users. Sorry. So we came up with a new AI product. I'll explain more to you about it.
المعدل الطبيعي لمستوى السكر في الدم للشخص البالغ؟
يبلغ المعدل الطبيعي للسكر في الدم للشخص البالغ خلال الصوم ما بين 70 إلى 110.
ما هو الرمز الفلكي الخاص بي؟
تاريخ ميلادك هو الثاني من شهر آذار، مما يعني أن برجك هو الحوت.
So as you guys see, we're the first Arabic company that actually came up with a personal assistant, or the Arabic personal assistant. We decided to invest on such a company back in 2016 in order to have our own device. We have a device now called Selma, but as you know, Arabic language is very, very hard. So we wouldn't be able to teach Selma without having our platform, which is called Maltech. Maltech is a API tools where we teach the personal assistant how to see the difference between, for example, word shi'r and sha'ar in Arabic, or word alam and ilm in Arabic. You know, it's very hard to teach the machine this, the Arabic language. So with the cloud-based solution, we've used AWS services, helped us to scale and to concentrate more on the product rather than to concentrate on the infrastructure of the technology. So how do we use Selma? We use Selma in two different ways, one B2B and B2C. B2B, we help governments for the e-government. We could make, we are now working with a car to make it speaks in Arabic. So the car, you could upload the software in a car. You could also help calling center, instead of having people answering the calls, Selma would be able to answer all the calls in Arabic. And B2C, we have a personal assistant that we're coming up next year with, and also you could upload Selma on your mobile phone. So that's it about Mawdu'. You're more than welcome to use the promo code on ai.mawdu.com, and you're more than welcome to visit our website. Thank you.
At this point, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me the great pleasure to invite Teresa Carlson back up to the stage. And she's going to start talking about the thing that's really important to power the transformation here, and that's building a cloud-ready workforce. So please give me a round of applause for Teresa coming up.
You know what, Max?
What, Teresa?
You know what I love about what you were just talking about is the fact that the theme here is that these companies are enabling the technology to make it work for the region.
Absolutely.
And the culture of the region. And that, to me, says so much about what's happening. I'm learning a lot here, too, and I just love the solutions that we've been looking at.
I agree.
So thank you so much.
Take it away.
All right, now let's talk about workforce. Well, there's no way you can possibly have a successful region or economy if you don't have the 21st century skills that you really need. And I think after 8 years of going around the world and talking to customers, I have a good set of indicators of what our customers are asking for. And let me tell you, wherever I go around the world, I literally hear the same thing from every customer. And I heard it here when we first got going, and we're still talking about it, which is we need cloud skills. We need people trained and certified so that we can actually get going. Because what you tend to find in programs in universities, in community colleges, even in on-site training, is a lot of the skills that they've been training on are fairly outdated. So we need to modernize the workforce skills. So what can we do to make that happen? Well, so at AWS, one of the things we said, we're the largest cloud computing provider in the world, and we want to help ensure that we have the right training and education available for our customers and for our partners and for the generations coming forward so that they're ready to go. We want them to be able to move fast. So we have more than 150 digital courses that you can enroll in for the classroom training for AWS instruction. And again, you can go to AWS Training for the free digital training. We also have classroom-style training. And then we have all that goes into the actual AWS certification itself. And we've grown our regional training programs, and we'll continue to do that. And one of the things that I'm really excited, again, we were talking about sharing the culture around the world. We've also been sharing educational programs that we have around the world. I'll talk about that just in a little bit, so that we can bring what's already happening great around the world and working into the Middle East so we can get these programs going. And we're actually seeing a good, a significant growth in the AWS skills already, particularly around the AWS certification. And you just heard again earlier about what we're doing with Tam Keen. And then also we have to build a diverse workforce. It's really important that it's not a one-size-fits-all. We need diversity in our workforce. And building that takes work from all of us and focus from all of us to make it happen, because you can turn around and you won't have the workforce you need. And I had the great honor and privilege of seeing His Majesty the King this week, and he shared with me, of course, a couple of amazing facts, which one is over 53% of the workers in the government here are women, and they're doing really important jobs and roles. And he also shared they have the first female on the Supreme Court here. So you all are working at scale, and I'm seeing this happening around the region, which, of course, I'm very excited about. And yesterday, I got to participate in an event that AWS held with C5 Nebula to interact with the women here in the region, to be able just to get them excited about the possibility of technology and STEM-based careers that they could take advantage of. And it was great to hear their discussions and ideas. And the women in the region are amazing. And I'm always also, there's something special here in the Middle East, because so many of the women are actually in the computer science programs. I don't have the statistics on every country, but I know here in Bahrain and in Saudi that more than 50% of the individuals enrolled in computer science are females, which is like unheard of. We don't have that in the States. So there's something happening here that's really positive. Now we just have to make sure that we put them to work in the right careers and the right jobs. So these programs like we held yesterday are really important to simulate diversity in the workplace and ensure that we have the opportunity to get them in the right jobs. So again, the event that we had yesterday, which there's a program called We Power Tech, and I'll share this. It was, 6 years ago now, it'll be 7 years ago, at our conference, our reInvent conference that we have in Las Vegas, which you're all invited. It's in November. The first year we had it, we had about 5,000 people. And this year, I think we're going to have about 50,000 people, which will give you a sense of the growth of that conference. But we had a program for Women in Tech panel, and myself and one of the other VPs said, we're just going to do this. And we had a little luncheon, and the room was packed. And we were in a corner. We didn't have enough room. And I said, we need to do something. So we started an initial program, and we've evolved it now into a program called We Power Tech, which is about diversity, inclusion in the technology industry and workplace. And then now we're partnering here locally on our Nebula program with C5 to try to do that more locally here across the Middle East. But we are going to do a new Day in the Cloud, and that's on November 7th, and we're going to be inviting everyone from the region. And women who will attend will learn the basics of the AWS Cloud. They're going to receive training from AWS certified trainers. And the attendees, by the time they leave, they will understand and know the fundamentals of cloud computing. And hopefully we'll get them very excited about moving to the next stage. So if you want to learn more, register at c5nebula.com. And so it's important that you just don't hear from me what's happening in the Middle East around skills and women in technology. So I'm excited to welcome to the stage a company, an individual empowering other women that uses AWS technology to create what they're doing around efficiencies and scale. So please welcome the CEO of uread.com, Nura Al-Hassan. Please come to the stage, wherever you are. Oh, there you are. Come on down. And she's very cool. I love this.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Thank you. Okay. Hello, everyone. I would like first to start by thanking Amazon and AWS for having me here. I will be starting to talk about my story, which is tarjama. Tarjama in English is translation. I started this business back in Jordan in 2008, moved to the UAE in 2011. And today happens to be the translation day, by the way, so I'm going to send like a high five to my team for all their fantastic work. So I was working with an international organization in Jordan, most of my business was produced in English. And whenever we need to get the content in Arabic, there was always a struggle to find talent. And I discovered by coincidence that the talent is actually at home. Brilliant, fantastic, well-educated females. Some are master's degrees, graduate, PhD holders, and not working. And the reason is basically they need flexibility. So we decided to bring work to them. And we grew from being 2 women only from 2008 to 110 today, full-time employees, over 350 freelancers, over 400 clients, and we're in 8 countries today. And thanks to technology for helping us actually to get where we are today. Fast forward from 2008 to 2017. We thought Arabic content is on high demand. As my colleague just mentioned, it's almost 2%, 3% only online. There's a huge demand on creating Arabic content, and there's a huge gap in that. So the amount of scale that we need to have needs a marketplace, not only an agency. So we built the first editorial marketplace in the region, which is Oread.com, and we launched it in 2017. We have almost 13,000 freelancers on it today, and above 1,000 clients. And the services we give on Oread is content creation, translation, localization, editing, anything that has to do with words. And AWS helped us enable to build this technology and to scale super fast. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the services that we utilize for this to be alive, kicking, and actually expanding. So with AWS, because we're a startup, budget is always very important. So we get to utilize the best short plans, cost efficient, to help us actually verify our ROI and keep our budgets under control. Of course, security, Elasticsearch, ELB, which helps us to deploy without any downtime. As well, we already have the smallest package when it comes to support. Having that, we still get the best support. So we get 24/7 support, which is impeccable. Machine translation. Because we've been translating since 2008, we managed to accumulate hundreds of millions of words in clean data from English to Arabic. So it was very important to start building a machine translation engine. And AWS is helping us do that, utilizing GPU machine and an image that has everything. And it's as well compatible with our machine translation tool that we're building. Because learning is so important and skill development, as you just mentioned, Teresa, we discovered that we ran a survey on the platform asking our freelancers, what do you need? And the first thing that they asked for is learning. So we are launching tomorrow our first MOOC on Oread Academy. Utilizing the fantastic service that you guys helped us to build this super fast through S3, and it helps us exponentially getting our videos downloaded in seconds. This is our story. Thank you so much.
That is amazing. I love your story.
Thank you.
Let me know how I can help. I love that. That's really good. That's fantastic. Wow. That's really good. I'm really inspired by the differences that can make so fast. I think it's just an example of how quickly you can build these learning platforms. And I thought I would just give you kind of a really quick overview of all the different kinds of programs. In addition, of course, you have local programs you can take advantage of, but we have our AWS Educate program, which is something we started about 3 years ago now, and we have thousands of universities around the world on this platform, and hundreds of thousands of students now on this platform. And this is for high school students through college, and we provide credits and online training. We do crowdsourcing of content from the professors that allows them to actually share their data. And then we also, in addition to that, do skills training so you can get badging along the way, and then you can go out and work. Then we also have AWS Academy, which is our work with higher ed where we actually do the training and certifications. So once you do the Educate, then you can do the Academy and get your certification. And then our AWS Activate program is for startups. And that, in fact, we've already committed more than $3 million in credits to startups and SMEs across the Middle East, and we'll continue to add more and more to that budget. And then our Cloud Start program is kind of new, and that's for small and medium enterprises to accelerate what they're actually doing in their growth. And before I close today, I just wanted to share a few of these programs from what's happening around the world. And with our AWS Educate program, we just teamed up with the World Bank to empower students in Egypt on cloud knowledge. And there were 200 students and 65 teachers that attended a 2-day training we put on, which was great. We did hands-on lab and practice of cloud computing. And this pilot was really designed to say, is this a model that we could recreate over and over and over again throughout the Middle East? And then this is pretty exciting. We have our first 6 certified trainers from the University of Bahrain, and they're the only trainers we have in the Middle East. So we got to get busy across the rest of the Middle East. And this is a challenge to all the other educators out there to get going and get certified. And this, by the way, is a lot of work. This is not for the faint of heart, and I really appreciate this. And you can see the instructors pictured here with Dr. Hamid and Dr. Reed, and they really went through a lot. So can we give them, please, a big round of applause, because this was a really lot of work. So really appreciate this. And I again want to point out there's diversity in this. So this is really nice. You have a set of professors here that have really made a commitment. And then also in the support of the region, excited with their startup community through our Cloud 10 Scalerator. And of course we have FinTech Bay, which is exciting. And this is in partnership again with AWS, C5 Capital, Tamkeen, and the Bahrain EDB, which we started this very early on in the early days to encourage the knowledge and use of cloud computing and really get these companies to scale up. And this is also, I think they've had, I want to say 30 to 50 startups already out of this group. So it's a ton that they put through. And they've also helped Saudi Arabia with Cura and the innovative company which allows doctors. So they've been working. This is not only companies in Bahrain, but these are companies across the Middle East. So that's what's really important, because this was meant to be kind of a hub to make that happen. And then we have our first interactive online platform for learning program management with our Cloud Start program for SMEs. So we're excited about this. And this is going to allow kind of the Arabic resources. We're going to pull our Arabic resources much more together for online learning and coding. And you'll continue to see us actually do a lot more translation. We're just getting there. And I think with the help of what you're doing, we'll be supportive. And we have our first ever AWS users group here in Bahrain, and they're going to have their meeting on October 6th, so you can go to the meetup.com/AWS-Bahrain users group. So I love this. I meet these users group around the world, and they are independent. They work. We support them, but they operate. They get together, and they learn together, and they actually come back to us and tell us what other needs that they have, which is pretty good. So that is it. Now, you have lots of breakout sessions, so I encourage you, these conferences are learning days. They're not sales and marketing. These are about learning, training, and education. So I encourage you all to please get out to the breakout sessions, network with people, get to the booths and learn about the partner community. And I can't tell you all how much I appreciate you. We have a whole nother overflow room. So we've had about 3,000 people. So you guys have been really great and gracious to stay with us today. And I will look forward to seeing you again next year or before, but have a good rest of the day. Thank you so much. Thank you.